Alright, so that's why I did this in black, so we could see, we start the S2L in black. This one I've got in white, it stacks right on top of there. Then the same guy over here, and the same one over here. And it moves along like that. So, what I want to talk about is so we can make these scales from there. And you just build a pattern, hit the warp, move it over for the rest of the pattern. Okay, we lost the internet, but that we don't care because we're just recording here. We didn't lose anything, did we? We didn't lose any connection. We're not on the internet. We're on something else. Ha. Hydrogen dioxide. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is, so I learned how to stack these things vertically. And indeed, when you take one of these guys here, okay, you take an S2L here. All right, let me get my box pattern down here. This is an S2L, and then on top of that, I'm going to stack this guy, right? So here he is. Okay, that's the way that stacks like there. Now just watch this. I'll find another S2L there, and then another one of these guys underneath them, like that. And lo and behold, they intertwine horizontally. They're intermixed horizontally because I wanted to get around somehow. So this is your S2L brought out in the pattern here. You add the S2S's. I know this is kind of like an abstract thing, like a perspective, but remember, this is the white pattern. Now look at the white pattern standing out. Forget these notes. So there is the white pattern. Here's the black pattern. Put them together, and this, you get this whole thing. No, nothing. There's no missing notes. Okay, so it's this and this plus this, and you get this whole thing. Well, from there, then I decided, well, look at this. What do we have here? You know, whoop, what do we have here? It must be in full screen. We have this pattern in the middle. Okay, so that's the S3XL pattern. And I realized that was connecting, connecting the 7 to the L. Remember, the 7 is like, okay, let me explain this. A 7 is like, you see this long part here? That would be like the boom of the 7. And then this short stack here would be like the stem of the 7. Then the long part again could be the foot of the L, and the short stack there is the stack of 3 is the trunk of the L. That's why I call it 7L. See, this is like a top of a 7 and down. It's like a bottom of an L and up. That's where that came in. I had to think of that when I was trying to look at ways that I could play this stuff. Now, I could look at this as the top of a 7. Then the bottom would be off the fretboard there, and so I map these things out, and they go marching down the fretboard. They come in from nowhere, hit the fretboard, and go off from nowhere. That's why people don't understand patterns as easy, because the fretboard itself isn't that big. When you want to look at a pattern, you got to look at about 20, like an imaginary 20-string guitar to see what's really going on here. But it all boiled down to just learning these two patterns, putting them together, and getting this interwoven pattern in them, and giving that pattern its own name. So we could use that pattern to put together what is the open capo pattern stack. Okay, the long open capo pattern stack. So this is the heart of the 7L here with the 4 S2L, S3Ls there, and you start with this one down here, and you can use that pattern for The fifth, the root, or the fourth? Well, guess what? If E's the root, what's the fourth? A. What's the fifth? Would be B, right? Okay. We're not going to use that pattern for the fifth of E. When we want to, we use it for the, if E is the fifth. Let's say E is the fifth. So we could use the pattern from the E. If E is our fifth, all right, and our fourth is D. All right, and then the root would be A. So if the root's A like that, so what do? We want to start our A note. It would probably be here on your guitar. This would be an A, but it would be on my guitar. It's labeled here. Okay, so we just start that A note being the root. So we have the longer pattern here, and it went right into the next pattern up. This pattern, okay, I figured this out. All right, we were looking for a pattern that would go only to the right, so that when we play this, this, or this, we've got a pattern we can play. For the E, we go. For the A, we go. A starts on the fifth. I just know that. And for the D, we start on the second. We're going to need this pattern. Now let's watch what happens here. Now we're on the sixth. Where we go from here to the 7R2, but it's warped. So we're going to do this. All right, let's try that D pattern again. All right, so here's our D. For you, it would sound like an A, but we're going to start on the second. All right. So it go 2, 3, 4, and then the long 5, 6, 7, then a long root 2, 3. Now we can still go 4, 5, 6, but now we might run into trouble, because where are we going to go from this 6? Okay, well, we're at the end of this pattern. It only goes into the next pattern, which would be the 7. The 6 goes into the 7. These guys are paired together, and these guys are paired together. They stack on top of one another. The question is, where do you put it? These go directly. You got 4 there, you got 4 there, you got 4 on the bottom, you got 4 on the bottom. No problem there. They always stack right on top, 4 on top of 4. This one is different. It's one different. And then you just follow the perfect fourth rule. So when you stack the S4L on top of the S3XL, then it should line up 5 goes to root. The way I remember it is I look at the 5, 6, that locks me into this 5, 6, and I know the pattern's going to end in a 5, 6. It begins in a 5, 6 and ends in a 5, 6. So it's like it was just a 5, 6 itself, and I go 7R2 as if it was part of this pattern. That's how I remember it. All right, so we're on the 6. We simply want to go into the 7. Pretend that this is our 5, 6. We're going to go into our 7, but we're going to warp it. Like that, 5, 6. We're on the 6 there. I don't know if we're going to get this one before the lesson's over. So 5, 6. We got it. Because remember, the 7 came over, so it was right